The system that I set in place works. I went through it with so many people. Oh, that shit, this, it don't work. It's a scam. It's the. I sold these people this building, this whole building, 4-unit apartment building, $50,000 down. I paid $22 for it. So I only had what left over? 38. Out of that 38, I fixed 4 units with it. They owed me 40-something, 50,000 on the back end. When they sold it, they walked with an extra 40.
What is he talking?
They doubled their money down. So this property value went from being worth $22,000 to $150,000 in a matter of a year and a half. Big business, baby. I'm a Doru, not a guru. I do shit for real.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Real estate scams are big right now and extremely popular. What I want to do is give you some tips on how you can invest in real estate without being scammed. I know being scammed is something that we ashamed about, but it happens to everybody. I've been scammed, you probably been scammed. I don't want you to get scammed via real estate, and that's why I'm here to protect you. Once we make it to the end of the video, I can give you some extra ways on how to avoid these type of people and getting scammed. Now, I don't care where you're at, real estate has slowed down. The market is slowed down. Money is no longer cheap. Money is extremely expensive, kind of in what some people might call a recession. So right now, with these real estate gurus, the blanket is coming up, and yes, they will be exposed.
These men will do anything not to be exposed.
This is just the beginning of it. And this has happened to people of all colors, race, and ethnicities. It's just that these guys were in the hot market, or they got some type of online following, and they thought that they were geniuses at real estate. Now that the real estate market has slowed down and they can no longer rob Peter to pay Paul, they are being exposed. There's going to be a lot more of it. So we're going to talk about Greg Big Business Parker. This guy, bro, he was selling hope, right? And I was one of the people, like, I thought he was a real dude. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't send him any money, but I thought he was a real person, and I thought he was really getting to it because he would say some real things. I wouldn't agree with everything he says, but being a real estate investor as myself, I know some of the stuff that, you know, he said was very true. But he was selling hope to people.
Born and raised in North Philly. Started out in the streets, transitioned, changed my life over, got into the real estate business, did very, very well for myself in the real estate business in Philadelphia, expand throughout various cities, and I started to reach back and just start to teach people the same things that I was able to figure out in order to transition my life and get to the next level.
The bad thing about it, those same people that he was selling hope to, he was also taking their money and not giving them anything. This is not my first video of me talking about this. I'll put that video in the description. People have receipts of him taking $400,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. They were following this man to Cleveland, right? To buy a house. What happened to the house? Well, the city said it was on the demolition list.
Stop playing.
These people are left with a house they paid $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for. That's probably worth about $5,000 at most. People were wiring him money and giving him money with no paperwork. That is a big no-no, right? So listen, I'm gonna tell you guys like this. If you're doing a deal with somebody, you wire the money to the attorney or the title company. In North Carolina, we close real estate deals with attorneys. So you would wire that money in directly into the attorney. If you live in Florida, you will wire that money directly into the title company, and you will ask them, hey, can you send me over the secured note? And ideally, you want to have some type of agreement in place, an agreement that's recorded against that property. You want a title search done. The reason why you want a title search done, the title company would have told you this property is on the demolition list. This property has this from city code violations. And I know that he was going after people who just didn't know. So I'm not criticizing them, but I'm warning other people. The last I heard about Big Business, him and his wife are currently going to church, I guess trying to clean up his image. He recently did a podcast talking about it, addressing all the allegations, which you took money from people knowing you couldn't pay it back. Now, there are multiple lawsuits against this guy, and we'll see how it plays out in this case. Moving right along to Janae White.
Right now at 5:30, the News4JAX I-team still hearing complaints against Janae White and her multiple businesses, including the J. White Business Center. On Dunn Avenue, investors are coming together after they say tens of thousands of dollars were lost.
She was somebody who came up via social media, like most of these gurus do, self-proclaimed to have 50 plus Airbnbs. Anybody can be successful on the internet. Like, you can be whoever you want to be on the internet. Market slowed down, Airbnbs are down, so therefore the jig is up.
Janae White is the CEO of 8 businesses and owns 50 Airbnbs. She's facing serious allegations of fraud for what some call bad business practices.
Let me say this to you guys. There's only 24 hours in a day. You can't be CEO of 7 to 8 companies. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, they own multiple companies, and they're not even the CEOs of all this stuff, right? One of the companies was like a notary business, which as a notary, very honorable. You can make good money. You can make 6 figures of it, but it's time intensive. I know you can build it out as a notary company and have agents, have signing agents under you, but no. She proclaimed to just be a notary agent, and she was CEO of this notary company, which is cool, but with a notary, as a notary, it's time, like when you're doing the signings. You're driving to different locations, notarizing documents. So if you're successful at that, how in the world are you going to convince me you're successful at construction and you are successful at the Airbnb and the education business and all that? That was one red flag for me. When people don't have substance and they don't actually own any property, they're going to show you lifestyle because they know you're going to fall for it. They're going to convince you that they are successful, you should send them the money. She had an Airbnb program, whereas it cost $7,000 to buy in. You bought an Airbnb for $7,000, and it was the arbitrage method, so you didn't really own the real estate, which is fine. I'm not against that, but for $7,000, you bought into an Airbnb that made $2,000 a month. I used to work in the bank. I was in the call center. One thing they taught us that because people would, fall for these scams. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. For $7,000, you can make $2,000 a month. That's the biggest red flag. First of all, there's no guarantees in business. So she was playing off of people's ignorance, and these people obviously were not financially sophisticated to even believe that. I'm not saying you can't get an Airbnb and make $2,000 a month. You can make some great money off of it. Just to put that in perspective, $7,000 gets you $24,000 a year. You can't buy money. So I want you to always remember that. And to avoid this type of scam, again, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since September of 2012. Business is not easy. Nothing goes right. It's just that I see things through. People caught on that they were getting scammed because they were not getting the money and everybody was getting the same profit and loss statements. There's multiple Facebook groups with Janae White exposing her scam. So people, do not fall for lifestyle, okay? And maybe if you're gonna do business with these people, go out and talk to these people, fill them out, make sure they have what they say they have, etc. And always remember, business is not easy. You can't buy money. Last but not least, Cesar Pena.
Cesar Pena, charged with wire fraud, was often featured on the massively successful syndicated radio show, The Breakfast Club.
Wow. He's so bad that the feds had to come pick him up. How these people go left with these type of names and backing behind them? Cesar had a DJ Envy endorsement. I don't know how you messed that up. If all he did was the seminars, we will still know him as being the successful real estate investor he claimed he was. Now, I'm not saying dude didn't own no real estate, but what Cesar was doing was treacherous. Apparently, from people at the seminar, they would book a consultation with him, and the consultation was $1,500 to $2,500. And in the consultation, what he would do is he would get you to invest in his deals with a 30% return. 30% return. I had to say that multiple times on purpose. Now, I'm not saying in business this can't be done, but somebody generally doesn't give up a 30% return. I'm not saying it won't happen, but what this person was doing, he would have them bring in cash or wire the money directly into their account. One guy said he brought him $100,000, he didn't even count it.
Where's the money?
In this business, right, we don't use cash, all right? We get checks, we get wires. The reason why some people have cash on social media is to show you and impress you. That tells me this guy had no intentions on doing right with his money. If he's telling an investor, yo, bring me cash to the office. Yeah, we only do cash. Huh? What do you mean you only do cash? This is a real estate deal, not a drug transaction. You wire that money to the attorney or the title company. You will then ask the attorney, can you send me the note? And I want this recorded against the property. Why do you want the note recorded against the property? Because if he ever sells that property, you get paid off directly from the attorney or title company. You don't have to depend on him to pay you back. So I had a friend, this happened to with a Facebook guru. I let him borrow a few $1,000s to finish out a property. The guy did pay him back, but like 3 years later because the money was unsecured. He kept pushing them off because it was an unsecured loan. Stop blindly trusting these people. Essentially, the guy was running the Ponzi scheme. The guy was taking that $100,000. He would call another investor and say, hey, listen, I know I owe you $50,000, but come to the office, get $10,000 today, give it to him in cash. I still owe you everything, but move over the 50 to this. When Spencer Cornelius covered this on his YouTube channel, for those who didn't see it, I'm gonna put that video down because Spencer did a great job. He was basically stealing all the money. We don't know where the money went, and he's probably not gonna tell us, but I'm gonna tell you like this. We don't use cash in this business. Be careful when somebody says 30% return. Now, if you're a partner in the deal, that's different, but make sure you get paperwork and it's recorded against that. Another thing that I want you to be careful of, getting rich with no work. I want to get that out your head. You're not gonna make money. I don't care how much money you think you got in the bank, your bank account right now, bro. You're gonna have to do the work. It just doesn't work. Life just doesn't work like that. There's no shortcut to success, all right? It takes work to become successful. It's just not worth it, right? Because after you go to jail, normally, you're gonna come home to nothing. If somebody's promised you, oh, you can just sit back and do nothing and I'm gonna do everything and you're gonna make all of this profit, chances are it's probably not real. You can still do good, legit business in real estate without being scammed. Learn about whatever it is you wanna do. If you wanna learn about wholesaling, hey, learn about wholesaling, right? I got a bunch of videos on my channel. You want to learn about rentals? Learn about rentals. I got a bunch of video on my channels. You want to learn about Airbnb? I got a few videos of that on my channel. But pick something and learn about it, because when you know about it, it's harder to get scammed. And click on this video right here, and on this video I covered about Greg. I'm Nasser, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a guru because I actually do this business.